Hey everybody, welcome to Cult Fiction. Today we are going to be talking about the Super Bowl, the big game, which is something that normally we don't talk about a lot of sports, but this is a big deal. We're also going to be talking about some of our favorite commercials from the Super Bowl. But before we get to that, let's do a quick around the table here as far as the game itself. I'll start. I'll just say I'm not a football fan, which is weird for me because I feel like I should be a football fan. I have a lot of friends, and my dad is a crazy football fan. He's been crazy for the Niners forever, for as long as I've been alive. And so my feelings about the Super Bowl are kind of like I could watch it whoever's playing, but the fact that the 49ers are playing means that my dad was really into it. I had some friends that were really into it, which kind of got me into it. And I have to say, um, I'm not being a fan, this was an incredibly suspenseful game. I felt like
Mhm.
every single play mattered, which is not something that I have really seen in a lot of football games. And granted, in my limited experience of football games, but it's like every play was like this could decide the whole thing, right?
Mhm.
So I can't even imagine what it must have been like for somebody who was really invested in this. As much suspense as I felt. Eric is a big fan, so when he talks, I'm sure he'll talk more about that. But it must have been it must have been just crazy, like pins and needles. Uh, um, but I enjoyed it. I had a good time watching it. The little that I know about the two quarterbacks, I thought it was a really fascinating matchup. You had this guy who's basically like a rookie, that was, nobody wanted him, and here he comes in and he has this big showing. And then you had this seasoned guy who they won last year, right?
Yeah.
The Chiefs did. So he was obviously the favorite. But fascinating matchup, great game. I had a good time watching, and I'm glad that I did, even though I'm not a fan. And speaking of people who are not football fans, let's go to Alex and see what he had to say about the big game.
Uh, I mean, my opinion pretty much mirrors yours in a lot of ways. We were both raised in the same house, and the football gene just skipped us for some reason.
They did.
I don't, I have no idea why. I was talking to Gus the other day. I like football as a game. Like I can watch it and it's entertaining, and it's a cool game. I just have never been emotionally invested in it at all.
Hmm.
Is what it is. But I was watching it because, my dad likes the 49ers, so I was somewhat invested. And yeah, it's like I've never seen, in a Super Bowl, and I've only seen one or two, where, yeah, number one, I've never seen a blocked extra point ever in,
Yeah,
in
that was
any football
crazy.
game. And that decided the game.
Right.
Like at the end, they went into overtime. And if they had scored that 1 point from the extra point, that would have been the game. It's fascinating. But Eric gave me some insight on the quarterbacks and the background of everybody. So it gave me a little bit of more meta insight into the game so I could get involved in it. I know that the quarterback, Brock Purdy, has a lot of haters and a lot of big fans, and it's just sort of interesting to see. Like I, as somebody who knows nothing about football or stats or anything, seemed like he did really well for a guy that's like his second year or something in the NFL. Um, you can't ask for a better showing really against the team that's the best in the league. So yeah, it was a really, really amazing game all in all. And if all football games could be like that, I'd probably be a bigger fan.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like most football games are nowhere near that suspenseful.
Truly, truly, like 1 point decided the
So
whole game. It's crazy.
so Gus,
But
you
that's my uh, lowdown on the Super Bowl.
fair enough. Gus, you said at one point you said something about it being a boring game or a
Yeah,
crappy game or
I'm
something like that.
I'm gonna fully eat crow on this one.
Because
Like
we
a big old
all disagree.
like an all you crow buffet, right? Like it's like what's Gus been eating crow? No, so like I think what happened, and Alex put it in perspective because I said it was mediocre, right? Everything that you guys said is true. And the thing is, like the I think it was like so evenly matched. There wasn't like a whole lot of action, right? It was a super solid game, but it wasn't like I know. Just you're looking at me. You're looking at me like I'm stupid because I am.
I'm not a football fan, but I'm puzzled.
No, like no, it was a solid game. Like I think I just wanted more action. That's all. But like, that's me. But like,
You want like
it's great.
guns and knives or something?
No,
or...
man. Like, I don't know. I just like it was a low scoring game. I thought it was gonna be like a way higher scoring game. It was a super low scoring game because their defense was super solid on both sides. But there's no way I could talk myself out of this hole that I dug in. So I'm gonna go to the shit that I can talk about. Yeah, the halftime show was absolute garbage. It was a garage sale for has-beens. It was a garage sale for has-beens. Reba sucked. This is Las Vegas, entertainment capital of the world. You got garage sale has-beens and Reba. That's what Vegas is doing.
Who would you have wanted, Gus? I'm curious. Who would you have wanted? What current non-has-been artist would you have wanted to do the halftime show as well as open the whole thing? I want to know who are you not going to call a garage sale has-been artist that would have done the halftime show or the Star Spangled Banner?
Okay.
Right.
Skinner.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So moving on.
Oliver Anthony. Oliver Anthony.
Oh, okay. That would have been beautiful. That would have been beautiful. No.
Come on.
Okay, I got two others.
Two of the great points.
Chelsea full on attacking Big Red was great. That was so great. Where he just like grabs him and he's screaming in his face. I love that. I loved it.
Right.
I am intimidated to all hell by Big Red. Like I see the man and he's just like where I'm like, whoa, like reverence and shit. Okay, so that was off the chain. I want Travis and Taylor to have hella babies. Just period. Just make the Illuminati babies. Just do it. Just make the Illuminati next generation.
I don't even know what that means. It sounds funny though.
And then the best thing that probably, I don't know if anyone said or saw it, was when Brittany Mahomes, who I have a mad crush on, gets Post Malone to take off his jersey and put on like the Colts Letterman jacket at the after party. It's great. So that's my take on the game.
All right.
And like, who would I have do the not that halftime show was awful.
The Stones.
Who? What's that?
The Rolling Stones. Well, they're not really rolling anymore, unless you count wheelchairs.
Let's get the Black Crows out there.
They did it like 5 years ago. I think the Stones did it 5 years.
15 years ago.
Yeah, 15 years ago.
That was a while ago.
Yeah.
And they were old as shit then.
I know. They were celebrating their 50th year on tour.
Okay, I got it. I think Miley probably would have done the Star Spangled Banner way better.
Oh God.
No,
right.
she's good. She sings well.
All right.
Yeah, I do feel like Reba phoned it in. I do.
All I can say about Reba is, and I've always felt like this about Reba, even when she had her show Reba, and before anything I knew about Reba, is she just always looks fucking surprised, dude. Always.
I think that's the Botox.
Bro, but the thing is, she's looked like that since the 80s.
Yeah.
She's looked like that since the 80s. It's always like every time the camera goes to her, she's like, holy shit, I'm here. Like, she's surprised to be there, bro. She always fucking looks like, I think she's awesome. I think she's hilarious. I think she's a great, like, from what I've seen of her, she's a great person, but she's always got perpetually surprised look on her fucking face, bro. She would be the best person to give presents to. No matter what it is. Yeah. You could give her a fucking book of matches and she'd be like, that's great.
That's funny.
There's only one reason why I will never say a disparaging word about Reba. She was in Tremors.
Oh.
I'll never badmouth that woman as long as I live.
No, I love her, and I love her surprised look.
She was in Tremors, and she had a gun. She had a shotgun. Yep. She had a number of guns, actually.
Yes, she had the double guns going.
Yeah,
at one point.
was the dad from
Family Ties.
Family.
Michael Gross.
Right.
Michael Gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The great
And he did like all 13
underappreciated
Tremors
Michael
movies.
Gross. That's right.
Yeah,
He was the only one that was in all of them.
Yeah.
So Eric, can we get a
Well, yeah, let me go
Bueller.
before Eric.
okay, all right, let's go to Bueller. Let's go to Bueller.
Yeah, only because Eric is without a doubt our resident football expert here.
All right, he's gonna be the
So,
anchor man. All
He's
right.
going to be the anchor man for this. It just makes the most sense. And to say that I'm like the second most knowledgeable about football in this group is probably accurate, and still doesn't even compare to how much Eric knows about
It's
football.
as
I'm like,
accurate as it is disappointing.
dude, for real, 100% for real. No, the cool stuff for me was like seeing Joe Montana. Like he's just the greatest. Like I love seeing him. I was wearing my Patrick Willis jersey, and so when they showed the Hall of Fame guys, the inductees for this season, you know, Patrick Willis was there, so that was kind of cool that I was wearing his jersey. I was stoked about that. Aside from that, like I didn't really. We're talking about the commercials. I don't want to like jump to commercials. I don't want to jump to like things that don't have to do with the game. As far as the game goes, what can we say that hasn't already been said? It was a nail biter. It was, you know, everybody says it was scripted. The NFL scripted, whatever. It was an entertaining game. It didn't go the way that I wanted, nor the way that Eric wanted, nor the way that anybody wanted from what I'm getting on this podcast. But damn, man, it was tight, and it had me out of my seat more than it had me in my seat for sure. The Niners defense, the D-line was phenomenal, even with getting 3 injuries throughout the game, which sucked. They just did a great job, man. It's great to see this team come together. One of the things that I've been saying about Purdy this season is like get that man paid. Back in October when I watched him play, and there was a commercial for his dad's sauna and spa shop in San Francisco that played during the game. I'm like, God damn it, get Purdy some endorsements. This is bullshit that his dad's store is the commercial that's playing for Brock Purdy during an actual NFL game. And now he's got Toyota, which is cool. But somebody told me, and I'm sure Eric can speak to this, is if Purdy starts getting that money, the real NFL quarterback money, then it's going to mess up the Niners salary cap. And might not see some of the guys that we're seeing on the roster for the Niners because they've got so many names right now. It's ridiculous. I mean, you can name 10 guys at the top of your head that are just phenomenal on their squad at the moment. So it was really cool to see them all in motion and watch the game go down. I got another friend who's a hardcore Chiefs fan, and I hate him even more today than I did 2 days ago. But the game was enjoyable. If the Chiefs wouldn't have scored a touchdown in that third quarter and would have gone for a field goal instead, I would have won like $600. But whatever, man. That's how football pools go. My square didn't hit, so my Niners lost, and I lost the football pool. What a pain in the ass. But we'll get them next year. That's all I got, Eric. I know you got more, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw it to you.
Yeah, let's hear it, Eric.
Okay, so speaking on what Bueller was just talking about, like the pay thing, that is true. The Niners are in a unique position where they're getting like top 5 quarterback production at with a bottom 5 quarterback salary.
So what is he earning?
Like 800,000 a year.
100,000 a year.
800,000.
So he makes less per game than Patrick Mahomes makes per pass.
Wow.
Yeah, because Mahomes makes like, I think his salary number for the year was $58 million, and Purdy was 800,000. So what this shows is that also it can be done to have, you know, a big number on your payroll at your quarterback, but I mean, you have to have like the second or third best quarterback in history, you know, Patrick Mahomes on your team. I knew the Niners were in trouble in the third quarter, just like you kind of talked about before we got on here, when you said that your whoever you were streaming it with, the Niners got the interception, and by the time they figured out the streaming, they had gotten back. For whatever reason, I don't know what it is, Kyle Shanahan does not run the ball in the big game. They needed to run the ball. And I said this to Alex before the game even started. Like he had mentioned, I said the Chiefs are either number 1 or number 2 in the league against the pass, and they're number 18 against the run. And the Niners have the league's leading rusher. They have the best left tackle in the game. They have the best blocking tight end and the best fullback in the game. You just should beat the shit out of them running the ball. And you saw that towards the end, like when they were in the overtime, they were gassing them out. They spent half that quarter of overtime running the ball down their throats. Now imagine you had started that in the third quarter, right? By the fourth quarter, you could have done whatever you wanted to them. So it wasn't even just that he didn't run the ball. I couldn't believe how many empty backfields he was making Purdy throw from. And what that means is there was no running back behind him. So you're telling the Chiefs, the number one team against the pass, that you're going to pass the ball. I have no clue what he was thinking. It got to a point where my daughter was yelling, "Run the ball." And this was in the third quarter. We were up 10-3, and I was yelling, "Run the ball." And my daughter was like, "Run the ball," because when you come out the gate in the third quarter and you do 3 straight 3-and-outs where you pass the ball 8 times out of 9, and I don't know how closely you guys were watching it, but Purdy threw a couple passes, and their DBs literally knocked the ball down. Like, the ball was right there to be caught, but their DBs made great plays. They have really, really solid defenders. And a lot of people get caught up and they're like, "Oh, this guy, the quarterback sucks." Dude, the other team gets paid millions of dollars to make plays. They get paid millions of dollars to sit in a room and watch film. They have coaches that get paid millions of dollars to dissect film. Sometimes it doesn't matter what you do. The other team makes good plays. And that's what happens, right? And it's definitely going to happen more if they're just convinced you're not going to run. Like, you're not.
Well, you said that the running back for the Niners is the best rusher in the league, right?
McCaffrey,
that,
in the league.
McCaffrey, right? So
yeah,
that means that they were running in previous games,
right?
So what made them decide not to run in this game?
It's only the Super Bowl he does this in. There was a playoff game in 2019 against the Minnesota Vikings where I'm pretty sure that, if I'm not mistaken, Garoppolo threw only like 6 times in the whole second half. They just ran the ball down their throat. And by the end of the game, Minnesota couldn't stop them to save their life. They just ran and ran. It's just demoralizing. It's just demoralizing. But something happens to this man in the Super Bowl that is weird. And people can't explain it. And this is now the 3rd time he's been in a Super Bowl and he's given up a double-digit lead, where if he just ran the ball, it would make a whole bit of difference. In 2019, when they played the Chiefs, right after the game was over, one of the defensive players, was being, interviewed on the field. And they're like, how's it feel? It's like, "Man, we're just glad they stopped running the ball. We didn't have no answers for it." It's like,
wow. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, that was just him saying, like, "Woo, we're just glad they stopped running." And then when Brady, was it 2016, when Brady came back from a 28-3 deficit, Kyle Shanahan was the offensive coordinator for the Falcons, and he kept throwing the ball at the end. And the thing is, when you throw the ball and you don't get a completion, it stops the clock. That's the other thing about running the ball. When you run the ball, the clock keeps moving. So you get to a point where you don't give Patrick Mahomes enough time to do what he did at the end of the game. And when the 49ers kicked the field goal to take the lead with 1:53 left and 2 timeouts, it was like, well, that's all day for Patrick Mahomes. I mean, to get in field goal range, Patrick, what? What? I mean, that's an inevitability, especially because at this point, he's going to get 4 downs. They're not going to kick the ball on 4th down, right? So he's going to use all 4 downs. Stopping that guy from getting 10 yards and 4 downs is just not going to happen, So as far as the extra point, I think that guy would have missed it even if the guy didn't block it. the way it was, the trajectory of it, I think it was he just missed it. Would the Niners have won if he kicks that extra point? I don't know.
I think the only thing that would have set up would be that, as you know, I'm sure the Chiefs then wouldn't have been able to kick a field goal to tie it. They would have had to try to score.
Right.
So
what it would have ended up, it would have ended in regulation, and you would have had Mahomes with about 6 seconds or 2 plays, because they had 1 timeout, to try to score from the 7 or 8 yard line, wherever they were at. And that would have been for the football game. If the Niners stop them, they win the Super Bowl. If they can't stop them, the Chiefs win the Super Bowl.
So
either way, it's
50-50.
down to yeah. Either way, it comes down to the last play of the game. It still would have been exciting as all get out.
Sure.
So good game. I just honestly, I don't understand Kyle Shanahan when it comes to Super Bowls. I don't get it.
Weird.
It's weird, dude.
Weird.
It's weird.
All right. Well, there we go. That's our game analysis. Let's talk about the most important part of the Super Bowl, the commercials. So I don't know how you guys want to do this. I want to talk about my favorite commercial of the Super Bowl, which was the Skechers Mr. T commercial. I was just so happy with that commercial. I thought it was funny. It was so great. It was so great to see Mr. T. I just got to say.
He's got to be 70 years old.
He's got to be 70, and he looked great.
Looks good.
He looked great. He looked like Mr. T, and he pity the fool who doesn't slip his shoes on.
I'm just glad he's getting some money, because I looked up his net worth recently for like absolutely no reason. I don't know. I went down some rabbit hole, dude, and I looked up his net worth, and like he's not rich right now by any means, So I'm glad that he still got that nostalgic presence and was able to get a payday out of it.
Yeah, I hope he lands another movie out of it, or something, or a show. I want
to
see
at least some free shoes.
I want some more Mr. T.
Bring back Mr. T cereal.
That's right. I would eat the hell out of some Mr. T cereal right now. I also wanted to throw out an honorable mention to the BetMGM ad with Vince Vaughn. Which I thought was hilarious, by the way. Everybody wins except Tom Brady. I mean,
yeah,
that was funny. That was funny.
What about Tim Broody?
Yeah, Tim Broody and some other. I don't know. I thought it was funny. So those are my two. Alex, what were yours?
Well, I had it was almost a tie, but one thing kind of put one above the other for me. Eric informed me that the Dr. Pepper ad that I really liked was probably actually an older ad.
Yeah.
So, but even with that, the one that I thought was probably the funniest was the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup ad when they had caramel. They were changing it, and then everybody has a big fight in the green room, and then everything fixes and so. That was a great ad, but the one that put it over for me was Schwarzenegger and the Good Neighbor ad.
It was a great one. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it was a great ad in and of itself, and for me, it probably would have been a contender for my favorite ad, just because it was a good ad with Schwarzenegger, and I grew up loving Schwarzenegger. But then at the end, they shove in Danny DeVito for like a little nostalgia trip.
Yeah.
And I got to admit, I've watched Twins so many times when I was a kid, I can't lie. The room got a little dusty when I saw that. I was like, oh, you guys, man. So that was really, really cool for me. And that's the ad that made me feel the best.
What's that, Eric?
That?
They're supposed to be making a triplet.
Oh, really?
God.
Really?
With DeVito. It's going to be DeVito, Schwarzenegger, and their other brother is going to be Eddie Murphy.
Wow.
God.
I don't know how that's going to work, but I'll watch it.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the ad that made me feel the best. It might have been a funnier ad, if I really wanted to analyze it, but that ad made me filled me with just pure joy. So that's my vote for
that was a joyful ad. It's super, super, super good. There was one that was the Toyota Tacoma ad with the handle. We were talking about the No Me Gusta. I did enjoy that too. That was good. Gus, what do you got on your commercial list there?
I'm like second on everything that you guys have already said, right? Like those were all on my list. I really liked the Doritos commercial. with the abuelas. Like
Yeah.
it was fun. Like it ain't gonna make me go buy Doritos, but it was fun. Right? This is fun.
Dude, can I just say, dude, and I said this to Caitlin when we were watching it, because I'm watching the commercial and I could not figure out, I don't know why. I couldn't figure out what they were saying. I don't know if it's because the stream was bad or what, but for probably 3/4 of the commercial, I thought they were calling each other Nina and Pinta. So I was waiting for Santa Maria to show up. And I'm not even like, it's like, it sounds like it's a joke. It's not a joke. I swear to God, I thought they were calling each other Nina and Pinta. So I'm like, where's the Santa Maria punchline? I did not fucking get it until like the end of the commercial. I felt like a moron.
Mm.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. And then like, I don't know. I wish that there were better commercials. I thought that like a lot of them were good, you know, but like I thought the Christopher Walken one was like I thought it was a waste of Christopher Walken.
Yeah, it was like
Right.
a missed opportunity. It felt like a missed opportunity.
It had this great setup, but then they just didn't pay it off.
Right.
Like, and I really did. I was like, man, when I saw it, I got so excited, right? It's like Christopher Walken doesn't do much stuff anymore, and he's always just so perfect. And I'm like, oh man. And then it's like I'm watching it, I'm waiting to get happy, and then I'm like, oh.
There's like another 10 seconds in that ad that's missing.
Yeah, exactly. There is.
And then just one more that I really dug it, and I know I'm gonna lose all kinds of credibility for it. I don't even care. The Kia commercial was great.
Which one was that?
With the ice skater.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I don't care.
That was touching.
Yeah.
It was cool. I was like, yeah.
It's too much maudlin crap on the commercials this year, I thought. Eric, let's hear yours.
Okay, real quick on the triplets thing, it looks like that is now dead. It was announced in 2021, and Ivan Reitman was going to come back and direct, but then he passed away in 2022. And his son, I guess they're saying his son put a kibosh on the sequel. So
bummer.
Wow.
Darn.
Yeah. So my commercials were, for me, it was the Michael Cera skincare.
That was a classic.
You know, the Dunkin' Donuts one, you know, I liked it with Ben Affleck. You know, the two grandmas, good. Dynamita, whatever those are.
Dinamita.
Dina and Mita.
Dinamita. Yeah. There you go. I also like the Sunday Ticket one, just because I thought that was a funny idea. You know, the season's coming to an end, so all the bird, you know, the bird teams, they were like flying away.
Did they use any actual football players in that spot, Eric?
Yeah, it looked like they did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they did. And then he cracked a little egg, and he's like, "Oh, looky," you know. That was kind of funny.
It was weird.
You know what? My big takeaway from the Christopher Walken one that was kind of for me was what's up with Usher and the gloves, man? Like stop it, dude. Like I watched an interview with him in the pregame, and he's doing an interview and he's got gloves on, and then he was in that commercial, and gloves at dinner. Like, what are you doing, dude? And then he's doing his thing, and okay, you got gloves on your performance. What's up with the gloves? Like, oh, but Michael did it. Yeah, so Michael did it. So now you're just biting off Michael. It's like it's not even.
He only had one though.
Cool. Yeah, Michael had one, and at one point he only had one in the performance, but he's doing like both gloves. I'm like, I don't stop with the gloves. It's like,
yeah, it's weird.
Like, what's wrong? It's weird, dude. It's like
he's checking for dust, man.
I don't know. That's weird.
But yeah, low blood circulation.
You guys want to talk about like the trailers?
Well, let's get Joe. Let's get Joe in on his commercials real quick. We can do a quick talk on the trailers.
Yeah.
Joe, I know you love the Kawasaki mullet ad. Come on.
Dude, the Kawasaki mullet ad was fucking great, man. I mean, it's like they knew what they were working with and they just embraced it, man. Like, really, that's what I liked about it. They're like, this is redneck as shit. Let's make it even more redneck. Let's give the bear a mullet. Let's make it that redneck.
Solid. Solid.
So dude, they knew what they had. They took it and ran with it. They weren't trying to sugarcoat shit, dude. I love that. If this would have been the old days when like people talked around the water cooler about the Super Bowl commercials they saw yesterday versus watching them on YouTube or whatever, I think that would have been one of the top ones. It was cool to see the E-Trade babies back. I don't know, it was nostalgia, whatever. But I'll say this, like, none of the commercials really like blew me away. There was nothing to where, like I said before we started, where I was like, I would have loved to talk about this tomorrow. Matter of fact, I forgot about the Kawasaki one. I'm glad that you brought that up. I thought that was a great one. But I did have some notes. I didn't know how much we were going to talk about it. But the Christopher Walken spot, what I thought was cool about that, it has nothing to do with Christopher Walken as much as I like seeing the guy. I think everybody here does. I thought it was really cool the way they used Usher to bookend the spots. As at the end of the BMW spot, Christopher Walken says to Usher, "Don't you have somewhere to be?" And Usher's like, "Oh," and then he does like a dance up the stairs. Like, I don't know if that was a tribute to Weapon of Choice by Fatboy Slim or
Seemed
what.
like it. Seemed like it.
Yeah, kind of felt like that. And then after the halftime show, then you had the DoorDash one where Usher forgot that he did the halftime show. So I thought that was a clever bookend by those commercials. And Eric and I both did advertising for a while. So from an advertising standpoint, like, I don't know, I thought it was kind of clever. Let's see, what else did I have? What else? Why the fuck did Lint think they needed to make a stand at the Super Bowl? Lint chocolates.
Oh yeah.
Like, who in their marketing thing was like, you know what we need right now?
Yeah, that was
to
kind of
make
weird.
ourselves relevant.
Yeah.
Is a Super Bowl commercial. Like, what the hell was that even about, dude? Made zero sense to me. I don't know why it showed up there. It was just a commercial completely out of place in my opinion.
Wasn't one of the first commercials in the first commercial block after the game started was an ad for like menopause medication too, right?
If it was, I missed that one.
Yeah, I was like, that's fascinating. I wonder if
the Lint chocolates one is the one that threw me off though, just because I was like, I don't understand why you feel like Super Bowl is your play here.
Yeah.
Like that's going to bring you back to relevance. Like people like your chocolates. We get them at Costco, bro. Like calm down. just ride that wave.
You don't need to spend $8 million on the Super Bowl. We're still going to buy our dark chocolate stuff.
Yeah, calm down, man. I liked. So then, obviously, Eric said the Sarah V one. That one's great, instant classic. Michael Cera is a great awkward actor.
Yeah.
I also like Anthony Hopkins giving that like real serious warm up pep talk to himself to just put on a mascot uniform. I thought that was Caitlin and I were both laughing at that. And then one from another advertising standpoint, the Bud Light commercial I thought was really clever by the way they brought it to the game live. So they had all the actors from that commercial up in one of the boxes with Post Malone and stuff like that. Because the last wish in the commercial is like, we want to be at the Super Bowl. And then within 5-10 minutes, they show all the actors in that commercial with Post Malone in a box seat. Like that was phenomenal advertising, in my opinion. My favorite commercial probably was the Jesus foot fetish commercial. That was great. And then to jump into the trailers though, since that's where we're going to go next. I can say that I'm not a fan. I understand it. I'm not a fan of getting a quick teaser and then saying go online to watch it.
Right.
Because I don't want to quit watching the fucking game to go watch a trailer.
Exactly.
Now I'm going to wait 3.5 hours to watch the trailer.
Right. Why don't you just pony up the cash and spend the $8 million and give it to me now.
Okay.
I mean, you're already spending it.
Right.
So here's the thing. It makes total business sense though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I thought it's actually a total genius move because those spots, that 15 seconds. So let's take Deadpool for example, because that's really the one we were all waiting for. You know, that we knew for a fact was going to happen, right?
Right.
There was other ones that maybe we were like, oh, that one's cool. We knew Deadpool was going to happen, right? That spot, 15 seconds, that probably cost like $3.6 million.
Right.
Right. So for 15 seconds, it's like 3.6 million for like 15 seconds. So to do like a minute-long trailer, it's going to cost like $12 million, you know? So for them to be like, hey, boom, 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 Deadpool, blah, 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 check it out. And then send you to some place, like send you to Marvel Entertainment or to send you, you know, I think the first place I ended up going or finding it was Ryan Reynolds' page on YouTube, and he had 4 million views already on it, right? And Marvel Entertainment had 4 million views already on it, and this was by the end of the game, right? So I don't even know how many it has now. They're making money off those views. So not only did you save money by only doing a 15-second, fucking bam, go check out my shit, but now you're making money off of the views because they're watching it on your platform instead of on. From a business standpoint, it totally makes sense. I get what Joe's saying, where it's just like, this is part of the spectacle. This is part of the Super Bowl. This part of the Super Bowl is watching the minute-long trailer that everybody's been waiting for. Go watch it somewhere else.
Right.
The fuck?
Right. Right. It makes sense. It makes sense. It does make sense from a business standpoint.
It makes all the sense in the world.
Right. But as a consumer, it's a little disappointing. But I get it. I get it. What were the other trailers? There was a Monkey Man trailer, which was good to see. I'm already looking forward to that.
Bro, Shogun.
Yeah, Shogun. I'm seriously looking forward to Shogun.
I
didn't know anything about Shogun until now, and like that was the other one.
Well, I remember I watched the series. It was on in the 80s. Like that's how old I am.
Yeah.
Shogun and Monkey Man both had trailers that have been out for a while. The ones that I noticed that were brand new were Quiet Place Day One.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That one's been.
And the Planet of the Apes, the new Planet.
What was
the
the second one you said? You cut out.
Wicked.
Oh,
yeah,
Wicked.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Planet of the Apes. That I was like, okay, those are brand new. I didn't even know I may have heard they were making Wicked, and I think I knew Quiet Place Day One was a thing, but I didn't know it was already coming out. And then Planet of the Apes, I haven't watched the other ones, so that just wasn't on my radar.
Yeah, I'm not a big Planet of the Apes.
I liked them all. I liked all the Planet of the Apes movies.
What do you think? They're worth watching?
Mm-hmm.
You like them? Good?
Yeah.
Right.
To a lesser extent, Kung Fu Panda 4.
Gotta say, I'm excited for Kung Fu Panda 4.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, no.
Not ashamed to admit it.
No, I like Kung Fu Panda 4. What I mean by to a lesser extent is I think we've already gotten a small teaser on there. So this was like the first, like a full-length trailer. So, but the other ones were kind of like out of nowhere.
Right.
Like
yeah, the Quiet Place Day One was out of nowhere. I didn't know that was coming. I didn't know that was a thing. I was like, wow, that's cool.
Trailer's been
It
out.
popped up on TikTok like 2 days before the game. So that's the only reason I knew about it.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh, okay.
All right. What's that, Gus?
Yeah.
The Quiet Place one I saw like about a week ago.
Oh, did you?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it looks so good. Like
Yeah.
where I was,
It does. I'm looking forward to it.
There's two, Gus.
Yeah.
So this is the one thing that they were doing this for, this podcast is kind of centered around the comic universe. So the Deadpool one, if we can jump into that real quick while we have a few minutes. Obviously the speculation of like Deadpool kills the Fox universe is kind of coming to fruition here. We got the TVA mixed up in there. They're coming to get Deadpool. But the Easter egg that people pointing out online is the Secret Wars issue number 5 in the end of the trailer when Deadpool's laying on the ground and obviously it's Wolverine's shadow. Big spoiler there. The claws come out like obviously it's Wolverine. But there's a Secret Wars number 5 comic book next to Deadpool's body. And I guess the significance of that is that's Dr. Doom's backstory. So I don't know, you guys. I mean, I like comics. I'm not as big of a comic nerd as other people in this podcast, so I'm wondering if anybody here can shed some light on that.
Eric and Alex, what do you guys think?
I mean, I don't think they would drop Dr. Doom in a Deadpool movie, personally. But
I don't think so either. Yeah.
No.
Okay, so I'm gonna take the counterpoint. I think they would, and I'm gonna say why. Because this is this pure speculation, something I've wanted for a long time. I'm tired of them dropping Dr. Doom in Fantastic Four movies. Because when you drop him in a Fantastic Four movie, you kind of pigeonhole him into being a Fantastic Four villain. Dr. Doom has the ability to be a Thanos level, Kang level threat for the entirety of the MCU, right? I wanted personally Doctor Doom to be dropped into Doctor Strange 2. I wanted him to be a student at, their school.
Summertosh?
I can't think.
Right.
Thank you, Summertosh. I wanted him to be a student there that you didn't even realize until maybe the end of the movie when they called him Victor or something like that.
Right.
And then just like let the everybody in the audience just go, explode, like have him be a side character or something or whatever. And because that's the thing about Doctor Doom is that he's science, but he's science and mystic put together. And so, you could be like, oh, he came here after. You could drop little hints where some people would be like, maybe, and then he learns the mystic art, and then he battles whoever they were battling. I thought it was going to be for the longest time Baron Mordo, but it ended up being Scarlet Witch for whatever reason. And then at the end you call him Victor, and then everybody has a geek-gasm at the end and realizes that they saw Victor Von Doom. And so I've been wanting him to be shown. The only issue I have with it being in a Deadpool movie is you have to take everything in a Deadpool movie with a grain of salt.
Right.
Yeah.
So
right.
What?
Yeah, I mean, because it's more of Deadpool's more of like a comedy movie. So if you bring him out in Deadpool, it almost like undercuts his credibility as a villain.
Right. So then you finish the movie, and then there's a part of you that's like, well, okay, is that even like the Doctor Doom we're gonna see, or whatever? Because Deadpool's canon, but it's like not really canon, and it's like, that's the issue. So it wouldn't be where I would want him to be introduced, but I definitely want him. I want him introduced, whether it's Doctor Strange, a Black Panther movie. I want it somewhere other than
Fantastic Four. Yeah, I agree with that. I think he's a solid villain, and he deserves his own like build up and 2-part movie like Thanos did. Anybody else got anything they want to talk about?
I've never seen Deadpool.
Oh
yeah, I know, right?
But no, he
sounds
wasn't
like
made
a
in
double
1992.
feature. Somebody's
gonna
doing
have to have a Deadpool night with some hot wings.
That's right. Okay, we're gonna plan that. That'll do it for us today. Thanks for joining us, guys, and check in next week. See you later.